Mr. Robert Rees, here we are again with the Underdog. I'm happy to have the greatest underdog of the year, which we are talking about today.
And who is it? Yeah, who is it? There can only be one, as the biggest tournament of the year is about to start, and we have a surprising lineup in the candidates tournament. As Germany's, I wanted to say top player, but he's not the top player in Germany, right? But it's Matthias Bluebaum. He managed to qualify for the candidates tournament by also making a very important draw against Germany's number one,
Yeah.
Vincent Keimer. And for me, he's the big underdog, and I'm really curious to see how he is going to play in the candidates tournament.
Before we start, of course, I need your prediction. Who do you think will be the biggest candidate? What was your prediction? Who will win the candidates?
Is like what I hope or what I think.
Both. What you hope and what you think.
Yeah, obviously, I hope for Dutch chess that Anish Giri is going to win. I'm a bit
Okay.
biased, of course.
Fair enough.
I'm just curious to see what kind of effect that will have in the Netherlands. If he has realistic winning chances, yes, he has chances. He's a really good player. But I think if I would have to pick one player, well, I want to take two. I think Fabiano has proven to be the strongest over a long period of
Yeah.
time. I don't think Hikaru has realistic winning chances as he's kind of inactive in classical chess. Of course, he's playing online, streaming, etc. But I don't rate his chances very highly. And as a very good outsider, I would take Sindarov.
My top choice as well, Sindarov, but also Matthias Bluebaum.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Not also, yes, of course, I'm biased, but I honestly think he is an exceptionally good player. I saw him play in Vike on See. There were 3 games where he was out preparing his opponents massively. He had a better position. He just couldn't convert it. If he can handle this, and maybe he has in the last couple of months, I really honestly think he has a choice to become one of the greatest underdogs in the world.
It would be a great story, of course. What I'm thinking is he's by far the big underdog, but still I think he has better chances to win the candidates than most people think. For two reasons. I think first of all he's the lowest rated player, but he's really difficult to beat. He has a very solid repertoire. He
Yeah.
knows his openings very well. And okay, in this format of candidates, you have it's different than another closed tournament, other round robin. It's like at some point you cannot be satisfied with like 50% or +1. You need to take risks. And especially in those kind of situations, Blübaum has proven himself to be a really tough opponent. He did really well, of course, at the tournament where he qualified, the Grand Swiss in Uzbekistan. And also in Wijk aan Zee, which was basically his first top tournament he played in. And he did really well. And you see that people try to take risks against him.
Yeah.
You need to collect some points in some tournaments. So people try. They think Blübaum is the best try, of course. But it can backfire. And that's what I want to show you also in the game I have selected for today.
Okay.
It's a game from Wijk aan Zee, so it could be the game you had seen yourself. Game he played with white in round 10 against Anish Giri.
There we have
Let's
them,
have
the two
let's have a look at this game.
candidates.
No, because this game it is for me a kind of a scenario which could easily happen during the candidates as well. Look at this. Blübaum playing with white played 1d4, and Giri goes for 1g6. Why does Giri play first move g6? He wants to play for a win. Normally, Giri would play something more solid like 1d5 or 1 knight f6, but he wants to go for some sort of offbeat King's Indian line in which the engines are always saying that white is a bit better, but you want to get a game and try to get some type of position where you're able to outplay your weaker opponent.
Interesting.
Let's have a look. So c4, bishop g7, e4, d6, knight c3. all very well-known stuff, of course. And here, most people would probably go for knight f6 and transpose to the main lines of the
Yep.
king's Indian. But Giri played here this move, c5, to put pressure against the pawn on d4. Blübaum plays the most principled move to grab space in the center. And now, also, typical idea is to give up your best piece, the only developed piece, to weaken white's pawn structure. And then black follows up with the move e5, which is kind of a normal pawn structure, just with the fact that the bishop has been exchanged and the pawn is not no longer on g7. So imagine the position will be opened at some point. Black may regret having weakened his dark squares a bit on the king side. And this line has become incredibly popular in the last few years.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is the big expert on this line is Matthias Bluebaum. He played this 10, 20 times in online games against some of the world best players.
Uh-huh.
Everybody plays it against him. And of course, Giri had prepared it. Um, let's see. Let's see what happens. I
Yeah,
mean,
interesting dynamic. So you play an opening which your opponent knows quite well, but if you do that, you probably have something in the back of your hand which might surprise him.
exactly. And here, White has a number of interesting moves, different approaches to try to get a game. You can think about launching your H pawn. You can continue with normal development. But having played the move E5, this is White's only chance to open up the center here still with capturing en passant, which is a very double-edged move because after taking on E6, the bishop recaptures. On one hand, the position has become more open, which should favor the side with the bishops. But at the same time, okay, we see the isolated double pawns on the c file. So if Black manages to consolidate the position, in the long run, these pawns can easily be targeted with a move like knight c6, knight a5, or sometimes even knight e5. Let's see what happened. Bishop d3, knight f6, knight e2. And here White's plan is to get a knight to f4 and possibly jump in with a knight to d5. And if Black is ever going to take the knight, White succeeds in undoubling the pawns, improving the pawn structure, retaining the upper hand in the center. So now Black comes up with a remarkable move, but still must have been part of the game plan of Giri. It's the move knight h5 to discourage White from playing the move knight f4.
Oh,
And well, you can think like the knight is a bit strangely placed here at the side of the board, but you also open up the path for the queen to come over to the king side. White castled. Black goes knight c6. And here a very logical move was played actually, f4, but
yeah.
it's objectively speaking probably not the best way to play here. There are other moves. You can always think about getting a rook to the b file to put some pressure here, and then Black got to think about how to defend that pawn. There are also plans to play a move like f3 just to stabilize the situation in the center, protecting the pawn, and sometimes you can even kick the knight away with g4. On one hand, it's kind of weakening, but the knight probably has to go to an inferior square. There's no immediate way Black can take advantage of that pawn move.
Hmm.
But let's see, f4 played in the game. A lot of ideas. White wants to go for f5 very soon, and well, Black can play various moves. Can move the queen to e7. He can move the bishop to an active square, even g4. But Black decided here to play the move bishop d7 to anticipate the bishop getting
Okay.
hit by the pawn.
You know what I really just realized, like I'm not very familiar with those positions, but those two double pawns on c3 and c4, they're in this very moment, they're actually so strong. There's nothing which can go through them at the moment, and the b file is also open for White. So
Exactly.
although it's a weakness, it's like a one pawn island on its own, isolated pawns and double pawns. They're doing a tremendous job, which is very funny.
No, it's very interesting pawn structure because at this point, even before playing the move bishop to d7,
Yeah.
the pawns cannot easily be targeted.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So white benefits from having open files. There's pressure potentially against the backward pawn. But you can imagine, the more pieces are coming off the board, the more static the position will become,
That's
the
true,
weaker
yeah.
the pawns will get.
Yes, yes, yes. That's the thing which I have to keep in mind with
Yeah,
my amateur brain.
yeah. That's a good reminder. Let's see. So bishop d7, white played h3. Now things are going to heat up very soon. Queen
Mm.
e7. And now Blübaum played here this move, g4. He is not afraid. Probably it's not a plan a lot of people would have thought about, but you're attacking the knight. And what would you play here with black, Arne? And the viewers, of course. You need to think, what is going to be black's next move?
Well, getting the knight either to f6 or g7, but of course the question is there some, can you do some shenanigans? Can you get the queen to h4 maybe?
Well, look at this. Queen h4 is the best move in the
Oh, wow.
position. It was not played by Giri. What is going to happen if you just take the knight?
Well, what's gonna happen? Bishop takes or queen takes h3? No, 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 no. Of course. Now I get it. It's easy. I mean, yeah, it just depends in which direction. So yeah, of course, taking on h5 opens up the g file. So if you take
Excellent,
back,
excellent.
the
Yeah.
rook has a very, very beautiful direct path to the king. And
Look at this. There's one beautiful variation. The pawn
yeah,
on h3 is going to be hanging as well. Probably something like rook f3 is the best move.
uh-huh.
Then you can still give a check. King
King goes
h2.
to h2.
And it looks like everything is under control here.
Yeah.
But what is the key move for black now?
What is the key move for black now? What could it be?
Open up the
Oh
position.
yeah,
Wow.
it is. It is actually bishop takes h3.
Beautiful, beautiful, because the bishop cannot be taken as the queen is able then to infiltrate. And it's going to
Wow.
be checkmate on the next move. This is how the game could have ended in 18 moves. After queen h4, obviously you don't have to take the knight, but it's important
Yeah.
to see why this is not possible. Probably a better idea is something like king g2 to try to hold on to the pawns. And well, at some point you probably gotta move the knight away. Let's say the knight goes to g7. White has to be very careful because black's plan is to go for the move h5, undermining these pawns on g4 and h3. So probably the best thing white could do is then offer the exchange of queens to neutralize the attack. But in such a case, this is exactly what black is aiming for, that the queens are coming off the board. And well, you have these long-term targets. The more pieces come off the board, the easier it will be later on to try to attack these weaknesses. Black is a bit better in this case, although there's still a lot to play for, of course. But yeah, this was not played. Queen h4. Black instead played the move knight g7 right away, and that gives white the chance now to seize the initiative. What is the move you would think about here with white, Arne?
f5 looks interesting because it will open up even more.
Yeah, and you have a big threat here, right?
Yeah.
You're intending to go f6 with
f6
a
looks
double
very
attack.
cute.
Yeah. Black played queen h4 now,
Hmm.
attacking the pawn.
I guess king g2, king
It's a
g2.
it's a logical move, but it was not played. White played differently here, protecting the pawn on h3 by with another piece.
No. Knight f4?
Knight f4. Knight
What?
f4. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
what
It's
happens after g5 though? Let
after
me think.
g5. It's a good question. It's a good question. What is going to happen in that case?
Is
Maybe I
it is
can.
I know you can capture the queen. It's knight g2, queen takes h3, rook f3.
Is
Or
the
no,
queen
no, no,
trapped?
king f2. King f2.
Is here king f2 first? Is king f2 the move?
How to save the queen?
Knight e5. I'm attacking the pawn.
Bishop e2. Okay, we don't want to go to no, no, it's not working.
Yeah, then the queen
I'm
comes to
yeah,
the to
yeah,
the other
yeah,
side
yeah.
even. The
There
queen
must
manages
be
to
there
get
must
out.
be
Yeah.
some way on how to capture the queen.
You
I
know,
assume.
what
But
I was
how?
thinking, and I'm not sure how good it is, but maybe after knight g2, queen takes h3, you could consider taking on g5.
Okay.
But then, okay, maybe black goes h5 here,
Wow.
trying to open up the h file. It's a good point. I honestly I didn't analyze this myself before we started, so
Fair
I
enough.
don't know. I don't know what is going to be best. But this g5 move, yeah, very.
We have to take a look at this now. Have you found it at home? What will happen here?
What will happen after this move? Um,
It
you
looks
go.
as if the queen can get trapped somehow. So, for
Yeah,
example, no, this doesn't work either. Knight h5. Knight takes.
knight
No, no,
h5,
no,
the
no,
knight
no.
can be taken. Yeah, so
Knight d5?
well, I can tell. Well, something similar is going to happen in the game in a slightly different
Okay,
version.
okay.
Yeah, shall we go to the game
Let's
then?
go, yeah.
Because instead of g5, h5 was played.
Mm-hmm.
Which in
Wow.
a way is also understandable. Like white pawns are advanced, you would like to remove these pawns
Sure.
and go for an attack. And now the big question is, how is white going to cope with this immense pressure against the pawns on the king side? Do you need to strengthen the chain by bringing in other pieces? Or can you play another move here? I can
Take
tell you another move was played actually.
I guess taking on g6 is crazy, but maybe an interesting idea.
Yeah,
Cannot
it's
be
interesting. On
right.
the other hand, one of the ideas of the pawn on f5 was to restrict the movement of both
Yeah, that's true.
the bishop and the knight.
Is it just f6? Also
No,
not, no.
that's probably just going to help black to move the knight away.
This is too complicated for me. I cannot
It
follow up.
it is it is. But look at what's happening. Knight g2, forcing move, attacking the queen, but
Aha.
giving up the pawn on h3. Black
Yeah.
took it.
Wow, how
What
scary.
it is, but for black as well. But you need to think about forcing moves. Don't think about the pawns, but think about more valuable targets.
Well, okay. I mean, after rook f3, queen takes g4.
Yeah, was all played in the game. And now, amazing move by white, with the idea to try to trap the queen on
Yeah.
g4 somehow.
Yeah. I bishop e2 is not working because we can take on e4.
Are you
No,
sure? Are you sure?
we can.
No.
Ah.
I got you. I got you with the move rook e3,
Yes.
trapping the queen. So
Ouch.
you cannot take the pawn. And here we see that the rook is about to move away when the queen is lacking squares to go to.
Oof.
Um,
Oof.
for instance, if you play a move like h4 with the idea to go h3 next, then where's the rook going? This is very important moment. What do you think is the best?
D3 was my thought
Yes,
initially.
because don't go to e3. If you go to e3, the queen can still
Yeah.
escape to g5. So you first need to move the rook away so to d3 so that your bishop on c1 is still covering the g5 square. If you do take the pawn now on e4, again, we have rook
Yeah.
e3 winning the queen. So there are some very complicated lines, but the queen is in big trouble, the black queen.
Mm.
So let's have a look. They're followed, pawn takes f5. Black is taking a third pawn here. Um, but what you're going to play now? White to move.
Well, I guess it would be too quick to take on f5 with the rook.
Right. Try
But
try
what?
to make a stronger threat if
Yeah.
possible.
But what if you take with the pawn on f5?
Um,
No, then the queen can escape.
exactly.
Okay, how can we capture this queen in a nice way? Is it? No.
In order to trap it, you need to attack the queen.
Yeah. Well, I thought about bishop f4. But
Bishop f4, the queen goes back to g6.
yeah,
That's a
that's
bit of a problem.
yeah. Is it? It it is a bit of a problem. Although it also looks tremendously good, to be honest. Bishop f4, queen g6, bishop takes d6.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then
but
again,
you
if you can capture the queen, why would you even? No, I cannot find it, Robert. I'm sorry.
try to make an attack on the queen. We just placed our bishop on e2,
Yeah,
so we're going to move the rook away.
yeah, yeah,
So
exactly. I mean,
the
again,
rook
once
goes
again,
to rook goes to e3 this time.
rook to e3.
Now
Okay, I considered
the
that
queen
too.
has only these two squares
Yeah.
available.
Well, g6 doesn't work because we take on f5 with check.
Exactly. With a discovered check, you're winning the queen. So that's not going to work. Queen g5 is only move. Anyway, we're going to take with the pawn on f5 with a check. And now the problem is that the king cannot go to any of these squares because it runs into rook e8.
Discovered.
Exactly. And you're picking up the queen on the next move. White is winning the game. So after ef5, only move is knight e7 to block with the knight. Now, of course, you cannot take here because the queen is defending the knight still. But we have a simple move.
Queen
What's that?
takes d6.
Exactly. Queen
Easy.
takes d6. And what's going to happen? Black's king is stuck in the center. Cannot castle because then the bishop and the knight are going to be hanging. One other threat could be just to play f6.
Uh-huh.
What is black going to do? Do you still
I
see a
mean,
move?
even rook e6 was funny. So what could be the move? Knight takes f5?
Very interesting suggestion. If you do take with this knight, there's a very cool tactic for white. How is white going to win material after this move? Your queen is under an attack, the rook is under an attack. But remember that bishop is still eyeing the queen on g5.
Yeah, yeah. That is funny. So rook takes e7, queen takes e7.
That's not good.
Doesn't work. Well, we also have the problem that our queen is.
Yeah, yeah. It's a problem, but it also guides us in the right direction because we need to do something about our queen, and we would like to set up a discovered attack. What can the queen do here?
Queen takes c5?
No, no, no. Try to look at more valuable pieces. Forcing moves.
Oh no, I'm so bad today.
Queen takes. Da 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 da.
Oh, okay, queen takes d7.
Queen takes d7 with the idea that if you take with the king,
We give a
where's the
check
rook?
on d3.
You give the check on d3. Same idea, slightly different version. But at the end of the day, white is up a piece and should be able to win this easily because the attack is not over yet. The bishops are really strong and the king is not feeling safe at all. So a lot of problems. You see queen takes d7 is a big threat, and that's why black decided to move the bishop away. So the bishop is safe,
I'm
and you're
just going
threatened.
over here, by the way. Yeah, nothing. I just want to defend
Yeah,
myself.
yeah, yeah,
No
exactly. But
checkmate, Fritz.
no, counterattack, threatening mate.
Yeah.
So how to deal with the mating threat? There are various interesting moves, but I really like the move played by Bluebaum here at this moment.
Okay, I thought of rook g3, but maybe it's a bit too simple. There
It's,
must be
it's,
something cooler.
it is a good move, but there's indeed a cooler idea for
How
white.
about rook e4?
Exactly, because your rook stays on the e file, and now the queen is under attack, and the queen is simply unable to move away to a safe square
Oh,
and
that's
keep
so nasty.
and keep the knight protected. Yeah, that's the problem, and
That's game over.
that is game over. That's absolutely game over.
How
I mean,
crazy.
you can try different things. For instance, again, knight takes f5 with a counterattack against the white queen. But now the coolest move on the board again is sacrificing the queen on c6 with
Uh-huh.
check, and then after recapturing, you take on g5, and again white is up a piece.
Sweet.
Therefore, in the game, Giri played a few more moves. He gave up his own queen here by taking on g2. King takes, and you can take the rook on e4 with check as well. King goes away, and let's say from material point of view, things are not looking too bad. You have a rook, a knight, and a pawn for the queen, but your coordination is just absolutely terrible. Like the knights are bad, a lot of unprotected pieces, a lot of threats like f6, bishop g5 is an idea as well. Black tried, bishop takes f5, and now bishop g5 played, threatening mate. And here Giri had seen enough because there's no convenient way to support a knight. And if you go away with your knight, let's say to g6, then your king cannot get out of the center. And the simplest move here is
Rook d1.
that's a good move. I had a different move in mind,
Oh,
but rook d1 should be really good. If you go rook d1, your idea is to go queen d8, right?
yep.
So that's nice. I just had rook e1 just to bring it in.
Rook e1 is exactly, yeah, that's another very easy move to play, yeah.
I actually take back my words. I don't think rook e1 is simpler or better than rook d1. Both are just incredibly strong. But you have only one move to play. So anyway, this is just completely winning, and that's why after bishop g5, Giri resigned. There's nothing he can do. But this is what happens when you try to take risks against the underdog. But how can a 2700 player be the underdog actually also? Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
such a strong player in any case. So I'm really curious to see what's going to happen in the near future in this candidates event where players, their opponents of Blübaum, they are warned. They have seen how well he played in Uzbekistan, how he played in Wijk aan Zee. If you go all out, take absolutely insane risks, well, you can easily be crushed in 25 moves. Yeah,
I'm super curious. And as we both have our favorite to win, Sindarov, I'm also very curious. He's not considered an underdog. He's more of like he has chances, but I have a good feeling about his power and strength. He's considered almost equal to Abdusattorov in from some voices I heard so
absolutely,
far. We will
absolutely.
see.
Yeah.
Robert, thank you so much. This was very enjoyable. And thank you for watching. We see each other soon enough.
All
Until
right.
then.
Thank you, guys. Bye bye.